Will take the lead. Marcuso into second place, lifts Charlie Atkins up going in towards the entry off that corner, and Charlotte Marcuso up into second place. Good stuff. Now going for the lead in towards Wilson, but managing to think better of it. They all managed to fan out and get through there. It gets a little bit congested in the heart of the corner, but there we go. It's Mikey Hardy once again. We saw this yesterday though, Larry. This is slightly worrying. We saw him yesterday try and disappear at the front and went down at Palmer's, if I'm not mistaken, which is turn number 3. But we'll see how this unfolds. Charlotte Marcuso holding off Charlie Atkins. Here comes Kieran Kent up the inside of Charlie Atkins now. And they both try and get past Charlotte Marcuso. One does. Kieran Kent goes past 2. Charlotte on bike number 17 slots just in behind now as they run through the next inner part of Sector 2 around this 2.9 mile Snetterton circuit. 2.9 miles of Snetterton tarmac. It's a long track out there, and it looks like James McManus again is starting to run wide mid-corner already. We see James McManus try and overcome the issues that he's got and get back up to where he needs to be. On to the Bentley Straight for the first time of asking. It's Mikey Hardy who leads the way on bike number 93 as he powers down that straight from 25. Kieran Kent in second place, brother of Danny Kent. 56, Charlie Atkins goes up into third ahead of Charlotte Marcuso. Now Charlotte, she really aced the start though from the second row of the grid, battling for the lead into turn number 1. And these 4 bikes at the front just starting to put a bit of a gap between James McManus and the rest of the ensuing pack that comes through. McManus, Cook, as they make their way down through the bomb hole area of the track just now. And James McManus will be doing everything he can to try and break free from that pursuing pack as they come through Coram just now. And I've got to say, Kieran Kent had that thing moving about on the brakes on the way into Murray's. And through he comes. Oh, James McManus. Oh, he almost does a Rory Skinner. He goes over the end of the exit curb at the exit of Murray's onto what effectively is the no-go area, but then has a big wobble as he comes back onto the top. But remember Rory Skinner from last year turning hard left and keeping on going hard left through there. Kieran Kent holds off Charlie Atkins just now, but it's Hardy, Kent, Atkins, Marcuso in 4th place. McManus, Cook, McManus, Thomas, Abs Thomas in 6th place ahead of Harry Cook. And then we've got Lewis Jones and Christian Smith. Yesterday, Christian Smith was on the podium. That's bike number 28. That's Charlie Barnes from Preston on the DC Racing bike, walking away from his bike. He's a faller at Murray's. Rider perfectly okay, but down bike number 28, Charlie Barnes from Preston on the DC Racing Kawasaki. He's waited a long time in the day for that one, unfortunately. Yesterday's race and today not the best for Charlie. We see a replay of the start. What are we seeing here? Well, Charlotte Marcuso just getting the perfect launch off the second row of the grid is what I think we're looking at. Didn't see any jump starts from myself as they go through. Yeah, no jump starts has already been up on screen, which is a good thing to see. Mikey Hardy, though, under a bit of pressure now from Kieran Kent. And what Mikey Hardy will be trying not to do is desperately not to make any mistakes like we saw yesterday. We did see, I don't want to say that trademark little error, but Larry, you did pick up on it. You said, what did we see here? And we saw it at Cardwell Park, did we not? And we saw it at Thruxton as well. Mikey needs to get a good finish. And right now he's in the best seat in the house. That 93 with the red top to the crash helmet. Here comes Charlie Atkins up the inside of him. And Mikey Hardy gives him that place just now. Needs to not fight the battle just yet. This race with 8 laps to go. It's a 9-lap race just now, and the 3 have pulled away from Charlotte Marcuso. I think she's now slipped behind young James McManus, and look at Mikey Hardy going through the bomb hole there, very fast and very committed as he goes into that corner. These little bikes, it's all about carrying the corner speed as much as you possibly can, and Hardy now up the, we're thinking about the inside in towards Murray's, but deciding better off it this time. Yes, Marcuso now also has gone behind Abs Thomas. Abs Thomas has got past, just going in towards that last corner off the circuit just now. And the 3 at the front away, Hardy, Kent and Atkins, as the bikes all pass us on the start-finish line here. Then James McManus in a little bit of no man's land. And Abs Thomas. Let's see what Abs can do. Let's have a look at the lap time for Abs Thomas. Last time round, a 2:10.7. But that was overtaking Charlotte Marcuso as well. Charlotte down in the 2-minute 12 bracket. Fastest lap of the race last time round, Larry Carter, 2:09.174 for Charlie Atkins. 2:09.174.
Just keep an eye on this one, Dunk. The safety car was just on standby for a moment or two there. Now the flashing lights have stopped. hopefully all is okay out there and battle can resume on track.
Absolutely. I didn't notice the safety car on standby. That's Larry, boots on the ground, noticing everything in pit lane. As we have a look out the window, the safety car very much still sitting there, primed, but thankfully not armed. That sounds quite good, that, Larry, doesn't it? As we look at the back of the circuit through Agostini's, up towards Hamilton Corner, Mikey Hardy now putting a bit of daylight between himself and Charlie Atkins. And Mikey Hardy likes to lead from the front. He does like to lead from the front. But can he control that pace and aggression at the front? Remember, the lap record for this race was set by Cam Dawson last year, a 2:05.777. I think possibly just maybe a little. What's it like outside, Larry? Is it still warm enough out there, or is it chilling up a bit?
Just clouding over it just a little bit, but still for the time of year, the ambient temperature is very, very good, and still the blue skies are above us, so ideal racing conditions, no wind at all, so absolutely perfect.
Maybe a hangover from yesterday. Entered the pits, Jack Kirsch, and now he was one of the riders involved in that turn 1 crash, so the bike was put back together. I did pop round to see Jack, and he had a sore hand. They said, we'll have the bike fixed and the bike will be fine. Can't guarantee that Jack will be either. So let's see. That might be a recurrence from yesterday. He might just be a little bit too sore to be out there today, Larry. That's Jack Kirsch on the yellow bike with the black sides to it. As we look towards Mikey Hardy, Charlie Atkins and Kieran Kent coming through Murray's and making their way up the main straight in this late evening sun. Very much a low sun as they head up towards Ritchie's End. James McManus all on his own. Well, kind of. Ahead of Abs Thomas. And Abs Thomas in a battle with Harry Cook, number 90. Charlie Atkins goes back through on the run in towards Ritchie's and takes the lead. That was just utilising the beautiful slipstream that he was getting from Mikey Hardy all the way up the main straight. And Hardy right back up the inside, putting a lot of faith in the front end on that completely Motorbikes Affinity Kawasaki. Effectively, Leon Haslam's race team, which Anne and Ron Haslam are also looking after with great help from Rob Ayland. The completely Motorbikes concern. Charlie Atkins regroups, pops in behind Mikey Hardy, and all the time Kieran Kent just watching this, taking a watching brief from what's happening just now. We normally find a big pack of riders at the front of these races, Larry, but today we only have 3. But really, you only need two riders in this race to have yourself a cracking race. There's a 4-second gap behind Kieran Kent that goes all the way back to young James McManus, and then he has got Abs Thomas very much behind them. Then it looks like it could be Jack Roach. It is Jack Roach who's made a come back through the field. Jack Roach, remember yesterday, Larry, he was wheeled off the grid for gear lever issue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. We didn't get to the bottom of it, was it? It was a foot rest issue that they managed to fix, but then it was a gear linkage problem that saw him retire from the race.
Yeah, great shame, because he took a fabulous victory at Thruxton, if you remember that. He disappeared. And of one place where you wouldn't expect anybody to do a breakaway ride, it would be Thruxton in a class like this. And Jack Roach disappeared from everybody and was about 10 seconds up the road. So we're on lap 4 of 9. The leaders have just gone through the bomb hole just now, and then we have James McManus all on his own. Then we've got Jack Roach ahead of Abs Thomas and Harry Cook. So Roachy, my little commentary box friend, has got himself into a position. Now he's into 5th position just now. Abs Thomas, though, is not letting him get away from where she is on the Simsidis Motorsport bike. She thinks about going up the inside, doing a Peter Hickman into Murray's, but then has to think better off it. And here comes Harry Cook. He winds up the Yamaha. He's got a good run through the corner. And then Christian Smith, yesterday's podium runner on bike number 75, who right now is back there in 8th place. He's lost 3 places from the start. Christian Smith was in the middle of the front row. He started P5 and he's now down, finding himself in 8th place. As Roach manages to hold the Simsidis bike of Abs Thomas at bay going in towards turn 1. And then it's also Harry Cook, the Yamaha there. Oh, Abs Thomas into the back. Oh no, down goes Abs Thomas and takes Jack Roach down as well. Abs Thomas unfortunately rear ends Jack Roach, and Jack Roach looks in a little bit of discomfort there, tries to get up, but that was no fault of his own. Unfortunately, Abs just mistiming a braking zone there, Larry. And down they both go at Wilson's corner. At the front, there's been a change of lead going in towards Agostini's, and that is Charlie Atkins now ahead of Mikey Hardy. Keep your eyes on that board above you, Larry, for any safety cars that might come out, and we'll see if they get primed in the pit lane, because Jack Roach was in a bit of discomfort down there.
Yeah, it's coming out, Dunk.
Yeah.
The board's out.
Yeah, so safety car here, that will be for that incident. We have got the flag out, and we shall see the boards around the circuit. The FIA and FIM boards will be illuminated. Abs Thomas very unhappy with how things are across there in the Simsidus bike. We'll see a replay of that on the big screen just now, ladies and gentlemen. And Abs just mistiming the braking zone, and poor Jack Roach, and he goes down there and he has that horrible twist as he falls down. Tries to get up straight away with adrenaline, then realises and thinks better off it. Abs Thomas walks away though, as the safety car boards are now illuminated around the circuit, and we shall get the safety car picking up the pack of riders to take them round and regroup everybody back up, which is not good news if you're Charlie Atkins, Mickey Hardy and Kieran Kent, because you had about a 4-second lead over everybody else, and Larry, that lead has now evaporated.
Yeah, this is obviously the reason that the safety car comes out. Obviously, ladies and gents, if you're not familiar, is quite simply to save as red flagging the race. The race is neutralised under the safety car. The laps still count towards the full race distance, but what it does mean is that the riders are not allowed to overtake the safety car. A little bit of a controversial comment there after what happened in the Superbike race. But effectively, everybody bunches up. That means that the riders behind the leaders can negate the gaps effectively. They can close up. And when the safety car is due to come in, the lights will be extinguished on top of the safety car, which will tell the riders that it's pulling into the pits at the end of this lap. And the race will then only restart upon crossing the start and finish line, where Annabelle Matthews will just wave the green flag. They're not allowed to overtake until that particular point. But these laps, and we know not how many laps the safety car will be out there for until such time as it allows the E-Rock Race Safe Marshals to clear up that incident and make sure that the track is safe to go racing again.
Can I just say that Jack Roach is on his feet round there, which is a great bit of news, actually. I've got to say it was a fairly nasty slap that he took down onto the tarmac at Wilson's, but Jack has now got to his feet and in typical Jack Roach style, stripped off down to the waist and is now walking around, but he'll realise that it was a mistake and there would be no malice involved by Abs Thomas here. Now what has happened here is the safety car's picked up the leaders, and then we have got 4 bikes at the front, and then there's a big gap behind James McManus to anybody else. The other bikes have not caught up that gap as well as you really would expect them to. And now here they come. Harry Cook is the next bike in line, and he's got Christian Smith following him right down the Bentley Straight. And yeah, we don't want any more controversial safety car talk. Thank you very much, Scoop Carter down in the pit lane. Let's gloss over that just now. But here we come. It's Charlie Atkins. So we have lost one Simsidus bike. We've still got one in the lead though, and I am a big fan of the colour schemes of these bikes. They do look very, very pretty from a distance and up close. We've then got Mikey Hardy yesterday, who slipped off at Palmer's in second place.
Looks like we're going green, Dunk.
I know, and you know what, Larry? Half the field, 3/4 of the field are nowhere near where they need to be, and that's quite staggering. That, and here we go. The safety car pulls in, and perfect timing, I think, for Charlie Atkins. He pops out and passes the safety cars. It makes its way into the pit lane. So there goes Charlie Atkins, Mikey Hardy, Kieran Kent. Now, the person who's won a watch here is James McManus. He's going to go into third place into turn 1, and he does. James McManus up the inside of Kieran Kent, and well, everybody else caught, I would like to say, a little bit napping there. That was a strange one, as we see Wilson's Mikey Hardy getting very close to Charlie Atkins on the wrong side as he goes around, well, tries to go around the outside on the entrance to the corner. And that's never going to work. But James McManus has got himself very much right into the ballpark here. And what can he do for this one? He was nowhere before the safety car came out. And now James McManus is very much in fighting. So let's see if he can do the business for this one. As they come in towards Agostini, back up the inside goes Mikey Hardy. And Hardy goes past Charlie Atkins. Kieran Kent slipped back ahead of James McManus. And that will continue to rage all the way around the racetrack for the next couple of laps. One would imagine James McManus will not want to take that line down. Remember, he comes here as a championship leader, but Larry's only got a 5-point lead after yesterday's race over Charlie Atkins, who currently sits in second place. Update, rider number 66 is okay, which is good. Jack Roach will take a little trip to the medical centre, but we did see Jack on his feet round at Wilson's. But he'll get a check-up from the neck up, no doubt. And we'll see exactly what the outcome of that is. Down the back straight they come. Atkins goes back to the front ahead of Mikey Hardy. Here comes James McManus, but from a very long way back on Kieran Kent, and that's not going to happen. Kieran Kent doesn't allow that to happen. and they make their way along the short chute from Nelson in towards the bomb hole, and then that will take us on towards Coram and round towards Murray's, the last corner here in front of the Jim Russell grandstand. And I've got to say, at the front, Charlie Atkins has got that bike on full lean, moving about going through there, making that bike look pretty special. Oh, here's a moment going in though. He picks it up and Murray's goes straight on onto the grass, and that is not what he needs to do when he's 5 points behind James McManus in the championship, and he's just gifted a whole handful of points and put McManus onto the podium. That, Larry, just looked like a bad downshift, and we've all been there. We've had the downshift, we've let the clutch out, and it's either not been in a gear or it's been in between gears, and that's a bit of a disaster for young Charlie Atkins. But he's still on the bike, although he finds himself down now. And what position is he? He's down in 6th place now as Kieran Kent hits the front, goes past Mikey Hardy in towards Wilson's corner. They accelerate back along towards Palmer, and all the time James McManus just rubbing his hands. He hasn't had the race pace, but he finds himself on the podium step now, even in a weekend where maybe, Larry, he doesn't have that pace.
Pick up points on your bad days and maximise them on your good days. And I think that is the mark of a champion. And when you consider that James McManus has been a little bit off colour this weekend, if he can salvage a podium out of this one going into the final two or three rounds, then it certainly will be a good weekend. So just keep riding that one. But yeah, it was a little bit of an unforced error down there for Charlie Atkins, I think. Came past me down here on pit lane, still had a little bit of the dirt and rubbish on the tyres, which he would be aware of. So it'll take him a lap or two before he can really get back up to speed.
And of course, Larry, we're going off at that last corner. He then loses momentum all the way up straight along hill.
And it's a long uphill stretch, Doug.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever ridden or walked or cycled the Snetterton track, there is a fairly steep incline up this Santa Straight.
Now, the three at the front, Hardy, Kent and McManus, they can't rest on their laurels because Harry Cook has dragged himself and Christian Smith, yesterday's podium man, up towards this battle. So we've now got a 5-bike battle at the front as they come down through the bomb hole again and accelerate round that big long right-hander. Just off the back, Christian Smith, but he has got the race pace to drag himself back up towards the front, into the muddy section of the track where we saw Charlie Atkins make that little mistake, and he will be kicking himself because he's now off the back of this battle in a little bit of no man's land in 6th place. 7th place right now we have Lewis Jones. 2/3 distance has been complete. Lewis Jones in 7th with Joe Ellis and Finn Smartweed in 9th with Christian Smith in 10th place. Up into 2nd place, no. James McManus tried to. He showed a little bit of a nose there, but that was not to be for him. Kieran Kent chopped the nose off his number 14 Kawasaki. The Completely Motorbikes Affinity Academy bike had no way of going through at Ritchie's there. Harry Cook still sits menacing in 3rd place just now on that number 90 Yamaha. All Kawasaki's in the top 5 apart from Harry Cook's Yamaha. There's a bit of a Murrayism for you, Larry. The one Yamaha they're causing the Kawasaki's a bit of a headache right now as Harry Cook is alongside McManus as they head down towards the inside of Agostini's, and Harry Cook goes 3rd. Now what he needs is some good points, because he was in a perfect championship position until they got to Donington. He led it, and then he had 3 DNFs on the trot. He picked up 5 points, a handful of points of 11th place or whatever it would be, and then he had another double DNF, and he really needs to get some more point scoring back on the board for Harry Cook on that Yamaha number 90. And right now he finds himself on the podium, and that's where he will want to be, the young rider on the McCams Yamaha junior team. Big long look over the shoulder for Kieran Kent as we move into the final lap of this race. Remember, it was interrupted by a safety car, and down the back straight there's a whole lot of people not wanting to be drafted, but Kent on the inside of Hardy as they go underneath the bridge. Hardy toughs it out on the brakes and goes round the outside in towards Nelson, and that's a position he'll keep McManus out of sync there, and he's going to be passed by Christian Smith. No, he's not. He chops the nose off Christian Smith as they run towards the bomb hole, but as they come up towards Coram now, it is Mikey Hardy who is staring at a victory if he can get through Coram and Murray's as they come around. He's had 1 victory, 2 victories already this year, Mikey Hardy, in towards the last corner. Through Murray's he comes, and now it's all about a drag towards the line for Mikey Hardy on the Completely Motorbikes by Kawasaki. Up he comes, checker flag waves. Mikey Hardy wins from Kieran Kent, and Harry Cook picks up a fabulous 3rd place on the McCams junior team, the Yamaha there. 3rd place, 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 A good race towards the end for Harry Cook. He finishes ahead of James McManus, Christian Smith and Charlie Atkins all across the line. The next gaggle of riders all shaking their heads at each other as they cross the line. Further down behind, Lewis Jones in 7th. Joe Ellis was 8th, and Finn Smart we didn't come through with Kieran Smith and Fred McMullen in 11th. And it was all very, very close after that, with a lot of riders all jockeying for positions. But Mikey Hardy takes a victory here today. The last victory was race number 1 at Doynton, and he then picked up race number 1 win